Discovering Alabama is a production of the Alabama Museum of Natural History.
It seems everywhere we go these days, we are beckoned to pay attention, to care for our environment. And in Alabama, we don't have to look farther than our own backyard to see a world of nature worth preserving. Alabama is blessed with a bounty of beauty in its natural wildlands. With such a panoply of native splendor, it's no wonder that today many Alabamians, from business, government, and citizen groups, are claiming to be environmentally friendly. Being environmentally friendly, or being green as they say, has become such a popular pursuit that we even have a day set aside to honor the Earth. Earth Day is celebrated each year around the world and around Alabama.
We are delighted to have you here at Earth Day. As you can tell, we've got lots and lots of people here.
Alabama boasts a great variety of Earth Day events. Each year during springtime, these environmental celebrations are held in schools and communities throughout the state. Hi, I'm Doug Phillips. Join me for a visit to a special Earth Day celebration in Selma, Alabama. While we're there, we'll look at the role of environmental education and examine how we can really make a difference for the future of our Earth and the future of our children. This program is about a land unknown to many people, a land that in many ways has maintained its native natural wonders, a place of bountiful backcountry, forests, streams, and wildlife more diverse than can be found in much of the inhabited world. Come along with me as we explore the wild wonders of this land. Come along as we discover Alabama. Welcome to Discovering Alabama, and welcome to Selma, Alabama. In the heart of the Black Belt, Selma sits overlooking the Alabama River, just a few miles from where it joins with the Cahaba River. Here too are impressive forest lands and the rich black soils that give the region its name. These dark soils lie in sharp contrast to the Selma chalk. The snowy white chalk is actually the fossilized remains of billions of microscopic creatures that populated the oceans covering this region many millions of years ago. Selma sits in the center of a very interesting region of our planet Earth, a region with a rich natural history that can teach us a lot about our Earth's past. And today, Selma is a center for activities that can teach us a lot about caring for our Earth's future.
Let me show you this. This is an interesting thing. What does that look like to you? Yeah, it's just a piece of styrofoam. Look at the hole in it. See how it's sort of a diamond-shaped hole? That's where a sea turtle bit into it, because a sea turtle can't tell the difference between jellyfish and styrofoam. That's why it's important that we don't throw paper cups and styrofoam cups and things like that, plastic, down at the beach.
Annually, Selma celebrates Earth Day and invites its neighbors from miles around.
It's a lot of fun. I think it's a great experience for the kids. It's a little confusing, but it's a lot of fun. It's hard to keep up with all the kids at one time, but they're loving it.
The first Earth Day was celebrated in 1970 in San Francisco, the brainchild of a man named John McConnell. Selma's annual celebration was begun in 1994, the brainchild of local folks, and in particular Meadowview Elementary principal Janice Stewart.
Well, one thing, Earth Day should be every day, but of course we get caught up in our daily lives and we forget. So by having a big event like this,
The children are going to think about it. It's going to be in their mind. They're going to be aware of it. It's springtime, sort of a renewal. The leaves are coming on the trees. So they're really starting to think about it. And it will carry on.
Learn how to do different stuff. Find out what kind of pH is on in the water. You just drink it and find out. You can just drink it and find out, but that might be a dangerous way.
And the idea is that if we can start with children, then they're going to go home because every presenter here is going to give them something. They're going to take that home, and as they pull it out of the bag, they're going to share what they've learned with their parents. So the parents learn. Then as they grow older, they're going to still remember that, and then they'll teach their children. This is the age that you teach environmental education.
And the tree is full grown, but the guy that keeps up with it will change that tag and put a number on there. If you don't wrap that hole up right there, bugs will get in it, and that'll make it kill the top. So we wrap.
Selma's event is just one of many Earth Day celebrations that take place each year across Alabama. Nowadays, it seems appropriate to set aside one day a year to celebrate the Earth. But for those of us old enough to remember the first Earth Day in 1970, well, let's just say things have changed.
On April 22nd, 1970, I celebrated the first Earth Day at Jacksonville State University in Alabama. I think there were about 10 of us total at that time, and I think we were considered radical at that time. And looking around here 30 years later, it's pretty fascinating.
With such a world of wonder all around us, it's hard to believe that efforts to protect our natural environment were once considered radical. In the 1970s, Congress established the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and passed such laws as the Endangered Species Act. Environmental issues were beginning to move into the mainstream. Today, it seems everyone is jumping on the Earth Day bandwagon.
The Navy is constantly involved in recycling, community involvement with community cleanups. We've got regulations that we follow at sea for not disposing of non-perishable items at sea and stuff of that nature.
Today, it seems everyone wants to be green, to help the environment. Local, state, and federal government are represented at the Selma event, together with industry and environmental groups. Let's take a moment to see what these folks have to teach our youngsters about their environment.
Come on, everybody, let's do it. Ready? Your left. Reuse, recycle. Good. Reuse, recycle. Reuse, recycle. Now listen. Reuse, recycle. One more time. Reuse, recycle.
It's hard to argue with a recycle rap. Recycling and picking up litter are great ways to get kids started thinking about their environment. It gives them something tangible to help understand human effects on the world around them. But what about the more complex issues facing our natural environment? For instance, can these young scholars be given learning experiences that will help them understand human influences on an entire watershed?
What did you want to help me out here? What do we put on golf courses to make the grass grow?
Like fertilizer.
Fertilizer. So when the rain falls down on the golf course, make it rain real quick, what happens to all the excess fertilizer? Where does it run off to? Keep raining. Where does it end up? Yeah, where's it going?
Into the river.
What river?
River.
That's right.
All these trees grow right here in Dallas County.
This is a red oak. There's several varieties of red oak. It's very strong, makes good furniture.
In your house, if you flush the toilet, or if you put water down the drain, suppose you took a bath or a shower this morning, when you flush the toilet, yeah, it goes in the septic tank. The liquid goes in the septic tank, the solid does too. The solid stays. And every 3 to 5 years, you have to get it removed.
If you found one of these out in your backyard, you would not want to reach down and pet him like you've done this one, because it's a wild animal. If it hasn't run away, don't ever try to grab it because it's going to bite you. And this is not a poisonous snake, but they're very beneficial to have around because they eat snakes, especially our poisonous snakes that aren't good for us, and rats that carry diseases.
This is a corn snake. He's a native snake, and he's very friendly. They eat mice, little rats around barns, buildings. Very beautiful. Makes a very good pet.
A pet?
Very beautiful.
It's a whirlwind of activity, and there's so much to learn. By the end of the day, the children from Dallas and surrounding counties have learned about a number of environmental issues, problems, and possible solutions. The educators and exhibitors putting on this event do so with one primary goal in mind.
Alabama has some fantastic resources, and we need to preserve them. And I think we need to do a better job in conservation education and environmental education in general. People need to learn to respect the environment and realize that we've got critters and animals and fish and mussels and things like that in our environment that are very sensitive to the things that we do as humans.
They're like power companies that generate power with water in the rivers. They want to know what the flow in the river is, so they get us to tell them how much water is flowing in the river.
We are fortunate in Alabama to have many organizations, many knowledgeable people, and quality resources to help promote environmental awareness. Expertise is available for every environmental need.
I'm from Alabama PALS. Alabama PALS stands for People Against a Littered State. I want you to meet my friend. This is Don T. Litter. We're going to give you a bag, put this in your parents' car. When you have trash, drop it in here and then take it to the next trash can, okay?
When farmers need the environment, they need the land. Because without the land, agriculture wouldn't be possible. So Auburn University goes through different research, different ways that we can use integrated pest management instead of pesticides. And we're here to promote students to come to Auburn so they can be part of the research.
Every teacher attending the Selma Earth Day celebration receives a packet of materials to help students continue environmental learning back in the classroom. The people and the organizations who conduct Selma's Earth Day event deserve a lot of credit. When you see the joy on the face of a student when he or she begins to understand the connectedness between life and nature, perhaps for the first time, then you understand why these folks put forth that effort. But these folks will be the first to tell you it's just a beginning.
As far as what could we do in education to really focus on the environment, we need to teach cross-curriculum. As the teachers are teaching reading, they need to be pulling in environmental issues. I mean, this doesn't have to be something that's taught in the springtime. This could be taught all year long. As you're teaching your history, what has happened, what has gone on through the years that's impacted the earth. I mean, you go back to the Industrial Revolution, we started then impacting our environment. So as they're learning the different facts and so forth, this is what they're doing. They should be saying, what can I do as far as bringing in the environment? Should be taught year-round and in every subject.
Yeah, one of the great things about environmental education is it very easily spans all of the subjects. And one of the things that a lot of good teachers like to do is have things cross-curriculum. Instead of, here's the 45 minutes for science, here's the 45 minutes for social studies, what many of us like to do is when we're teaching that social studies lesson, we bring in science, we bring in language arts, we bring in reading and even math.
In recent years, educators have begun to emphasize the value of a curriculum that integrates content, that relates all disciplines, social studies, science, math, history, language arts, around a common core theme involving hands-on, real-world experiences. In Alabama, that natural theme is the nature of the state itself.
Oh, look. What are they called again? They're called Presley Fine. Presley? Elvis Parsley. Parsley Fine Curls.
I like to approach teaching through integrated units and a thematic umbrella. For instance, in social studies this year, we have studied how the colonists have settled in the different 13 colonies and how each colony was unique, especially because of its landforms that were there and the natural resources. And so when the children realized that, they realized that that shaped almost the personality of that colony, that the middle colonies and southern colonies were more agrarian, agricultural societies, as opposed to those in the northeast that relied mainly on the fishing and the hardwood trees that they had and so forth. And so from that we realized that our environment helps shape not only the lifestyles we lead, but the economics that we have in our community and the resources that we have to grow and populate with. All right, let's think about how we're going to plan our garden here. We have a 3 by 12 section. Okay, so how many squares is that going to give us to plant?
36.
About 36, okay. A new program that we're implementing in our school this year is Discovering Our Heritage, which basically takes the social studies curriculum and integrates it in with the environment so that they go hand in hand, so children can see the benefits of studying both simultaneously and the impact that one has upon the other. I mean, its core is social studies and the environment, but through that, science is looked at, mathematics comes into play, and certainly language arts. You all thought about it like that? Okay, so if we took half of the squares and planted them with radishes, we need to have then 90 radish seeds. Will that work? Discovering Our Heritage receives a tremendous amount of support. We receive training services that are put on by the central office that are very beneficial, and that shows they are behind and backing what is taking place with that environmental and social studies curriculum. I feel like each individual teacher, though, has flexibility.
Reagan, you got that cup? Okay. Probably 2 or 3 of those will work. You know, in the fall we saw the birds migrating from the north, and now they're heading back the other direction. I found a neat website last night on the internet. It's called Journey North, and it's going to give us a chance to key in when we see our first robin, when we see our first monarch butterfly. Hey, and you know what? Other schools are doing the same thing. So when you look on the site, you can find the maps that tell when the monarchs leave Mexico, when they get to Texas, when they get to Arkansas, and we'll be able to show when they get to Alabama as well.
Our eco site is the brainchild of Dr. Vasha Rosenblum, who's our enrichment teacher here at South Shades Crest. And Vasha is a teacher not only to children but to teachers. And she loves the environment and has taken her passion for that and spread it through our school.
In the speeder.
It's relevant learning. Anytime that you can take subject matter and make it have a relationship with the child, then that's something they carry on with them. It's not surface learning, it goes to the depths of them, and that's our goal here.
I doubt there's ever been a school kid who didn't look at the work before them and ask, what am I having to learn this for? Well, the Discovering Our Heritage program pretty much eliminates that doubt by giving science, social studies, math, and other subjects a common purpose and a direct, meaningful linkage with the real world around us. Many teachers today are realizing that environmental education is an excellent means for imparting more than environmental information. The natural environment is an ultimate learning lab for helping children develop academic skills and comprehend required subject matter. Through a process of active learning, applied learning conducted continuously throughout the school year. The Discovering Our Heritage program provides an innovative approach for such continuous learning, whether the school is in a rural setting or an urban setting. The program draws upon a variety of educational materials with proven effectiveness for teaching in the outdoors and in the classroom.
Probably one of the most important things that we have in the educational arena is ongoing right now. The Alabama Wildlife Federation was instrumental in bringing together a group of people a few years ago to form a committee to look at what are we doing in Alabama in terms of environmental education in our schools. And there are a lot of good efforts going on out there and have been going on for some time in the environmental education arena, but part of the problem, we're all pulling in different directions. Working together as a strong, focused group, we could have much better results at trying to get environmental education as an integral part of the teaching curriculum, not just something that occasionally a teacher may want to pull in and use with their students.
A number of organizations collaborated in bringing these resources together.
Legacy wants to support this in every way we can. I think it's wonderful that all of these agencies are coming together to further environmental education in the state of Alabama, and we are definitely involved and will continue to stay involved. I think the collaborative is a wonderful idea. I think the fact that we had such a large attendance in our meeting today says a lot about where we're going with this program in the future as far as partnering together and working together.
You know, we've come a long way since that first Earth Day when it was considered radical to be concerned about the world around us. Nowadays, everybody wants to be green. At the very least, they want to pretend to be good environmental stewards. The construction of this apartment complex, for example, scraped off several acres of forest in the Cahaba River watershed that used to be home for a variety of wildlife. And yet the development will probably have an environmentally friendly name, like the Woodlands, the Preserve, or maybe they'll call it Fox Run, because when they moved their dozers in, they saw all the foxes run away. Yes, these days it seems everyone wants to be a friend of the earth. Some try to get by with appropriating the terminology of environmentalism. Fortunately, there's a growing number of men, women, and organizations who are putting words into actions.
Why do you think this might be ready to be picked already?
I think integrated learning like this with the environment makes learning very palatable to kids. I mean, it gives them something they can latch on that is relevant to them and has meaning. And anytime you can create a curriculum that is based out of children's needs and desires, then you reduce children that are not involved because they are invested in it.
Just think of all the natural resources we have here in Alabama. And we want to use those. I mean, the old thing was Alabama has it all, it does. And we can use that as far as focusing our students' attention. We can use that to bring in everything. As we've talked before, it's the umbrella. It covers everything. And with that umbrella, we can pull under, and with it, every single thing else that our children need. When we teach our children, we're actually teaching the community, because they're in turn going to teach their parents. They're going to ask, what's going on? What are you talking about? So with that umbrella of teaching the children all of the subjects they need, we're also teaching parents, and it spreads into the community. And from Alabama, who knows, the world is next.
A wise teacher once observed that the nature of life is nature. The soil, the forest, the air, the water, the many other creatures with whom we humans share the earth. All of these function together in maintaining the ecological health of the biosphere. An understanding of the natural world and our relationship to it is basic to a good education. And such environmental education may prove essential if we hope to perpetuate the miraculous realm of wondrous life we call Earth.
This program is supported by grants from the Alabama Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, State Lands Division, the Alabama Wildlife Federation, working for wildlife since 1935, and Legacy, Partners in Environmental Education.